When push comes to shove, when a real question is presented about a preferred response to U.S. invasion, the only party that is, by plurality, in support of rolling over and showing their bellies are the conservatives. We are totally aligned on bombing brown people. Let's just keep doing that. Yeah, so this was basically a very funny takeaway. But Trump leaked text messages that came from Emmanuel Macron. From President Macron to President Trump, my friend, we are totally in line on Syria. We can do great things on Iran. I do not understand what you are doing on the Greenland. Let us try to build the great things. I can set up a G7 meeting after Davos on Paris on Thursday afternoon. I can invite the Ukrainians, the Danish, the Syrians, and the Russians, and the Margians. Let us have the dinner together in Paris together on Thursday before you go back to the US. Love, Emmanuel. Oui, oui. In any case, Donald Trump leaks that text message. And the takeaway there is, yeah, we're totally aligned on bombing brown people. Let's just keep doing that. Like, the are you doing? You're up the bag. Jason Hickel continues. In all seriousness, this is quite a revealing conversation from the perspective of the world systems theory. Macron is appealing to Trump by saying, hey, we are both part of the imperial core. Let's focus on our shared objective of subordinating the periphery. What he fails to understand or just doesn't want to acknowledge is that there is a hierarchy within the imperial core itself. The U.S. is the main imperial power and seeks to shape the rest of the core, including Western Europe, in its own interests. This has historically included interfering in European elections and even drafting plans for invasions. The U.S. will not blink at the prospect of invading European territory in order to advance its geopolitical power. Macron is foolish if he believes that he can appeal to core solidarity, because from the perspective of the U.S., no such thing exists. The correct approach is for Europe to break from the U.S. and chart a more independent path. Here is another leaked text message from Mark Rutte, who once famously called Trump daddy in a private text message. Mark Rutte, lead of NATO, said he will find a way forward on Greenland. When one side threatens to invade, you don't offer a way forward. You use clear language to say it's unacceptable to annex a NATO ally. Mark Rutte must resign, a traitor to Europe. European liberals and European right-wingers, understand something. What Donald Trump is doing is basically just reinforcing what already existed, the system that existed that was in place. A system that, through liberal niceties, made you feel like you had a say in this, made you feel like you had some sovereignty, made you feel like you were actually retaining some of the imperial super profits. But ultimately, we're slaves to capital in the same exact way that the American administration is. And Donald Trump, recognizing the instability born out of unchecked capitalism, in the aftermath of the dissolution of the USSR and where we are in 2026, is saying it's time for something different. It's time to maintain order once again. And when liberalism has failed historically in Europe, and I think you guys know that through your own histories, fascism came in as a way to reassert dominance, the dominance of capital, when there's global panic and instability. Donald Trump is doing it now. He's doing it. This kind of text messaging, thank you, Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, says Donald Trump. Mr. President, dear Donald, what you have accomplished in Syria today is incredible. I will use my media engagements in Davos to highlight your work there in Gaza and in Ukraine. I am committed to finding a way forward on Greenland. Can't wait to see you. Yours, Mark. I cannot believe how much Mark Rutte sucks Donald Trump's pee, dude. I think it's going to take time. But I think Europeans are kind of going to realize that what they thought they had with this allegiance with the United States of America was built on a lie. And some people will harden their position on American dominance. All of the right-wing nationalists, all of the fascists, the international consortium of fascists will heavily lean into the United States of America, in my opinion. They will heavily lean into American dominance. They'll say they'll harden their positions, and they'll try to make an argument about how it's actually much better because otherwise, you'll have scary Chinese control over our country, and we can't have that. But the pathway for European sovereignty comes from decoupling from the United States of America and leveraging relationships with China. Okay? That's it. If you don't do that, America's self-destructive fascist forces are going to come for you as well. And their allies in your country will destroy you so that America can easily control it, so that America can easily control your lives and easily control your country. For all of my criticisms of Canadians, they very quickly realized that, right? That was the Mark Carney electoral victory. Pierre Poilievre was doing very well in the polls. Everybody hated Justin Trudeau. And there were plenty of people who were willing to vote for PP. But what happened? Trump started talking about how he's going to annex Canada, and Canadians woke up very quickly to the dangerous alignment that Pierre Poilievre had with the United States of America, and they voted against it. And there are still Canadians in your ranks, if you are Canadian, there are still Canadians in your ranks that have this same design, that want American intervention, that want American annexation. They're called Albertans. What will most likely take place in Canada in the upcoming years, if Trump does actually remain unchecked and doesn't receive any pushback from the likes of Mark Rutte, which seemingly is not coming, he will feel more emboldened to go and overtake Canada as well. And when they do that, there will be the Albertan separatist movement that wants to unify with America. Obviously, that referendum will fail. And then America will say, oh my God, there's electoral fraud here. It must be the Venezuelan Dominion machines that caused electoral fraud to take place. We have to fight for Albertan dignity, fight for Albertan independence, and then boom, annexation. And that's not my assessment. That's Steve Bannon basically signaling that this is what they want to do. Bannon constantly links Ukraine and Canada in the same breath, which gives a clue to the game plan. Promote Alberta separatist movement in referendum. When Alberta separatists are defeated in referendum, claim election fraud and stop the steal. Use election fraud as a pretext for sending in troops to restore order, protect northern interests, etc. Annex Alberta and perhaps the rest of Canada. Not saying this will happen, but it's something percolating in Bannon's rancid mind.
Here's the deal. What President Trump's argument to Canada is, and they've just kind of blew it off, but when he talks about defense, what he's making the point on the Arctic is that Canada is kind of like Ukraine, right? The Chinese and the Russians are up there, and they see the undefended northern territories of Canada. They're going to take a bite. The Canadians got to understand something. They're going to in your territory, and they're going to dare you to do anything about it, and you're going to turn to Big Brother. Go ahead.
We're getting Alberta is the linchpin. So when Trump says Canada is going to be the 51st state, he's speaking, he's vamping, he's having a little fun. But what he's really saying, because I know a lot of the guys in charge of the Albertan separatist movement or their prosperity movement, Alberta, they've already met twice now with the State Department. The Albertans are ready to vote in the next 6 months. They're getting out of the Canadian Union. They're going to become an independent state, independent country. We're going to recognize them, and that's going to put them on the pathway to becoming the 51st state. And here's why that's important. Alberta has a bevy of untapped rare earth minerals. They have the world's largest geothermal energy sources. They have some of the world's largest natural gas and oil deposits. So when Trump says Canada is becoming the 51st state, he's really talking about Alberta, and that's important because that's a gateway to the Arctic. Greenland is another gateway to the Arctic. So when we talk about hemispheric defense, we're not just talking about Latin America. We're talking about the polar regions too, Steve, and how they all link together.
Canadians that literally ate the bait and ate the propaganda hook, line, and sinker for the grand design of Taiwanese independence are going to learn very quickly about how America can treat them like China just as easily. If implemented, this is the same strategy that the Western forces have applied around the globe over and over again to all of our foreign adversaries. Do some psyops, especially in the age of social media, where all social media, especially in the Western world, is controlled directly by the United States of America. Do some psyops, boost in the algorithm how wonderful it will be to get Alberta to be independent. Most recent polling has Alberta separatism under 20% of Alberta. Their non-seceding law. I didn't say that they're actually going to do this democratically. Hello? That takes too much time. And also, that is somewhat of a, that's liberal interventionism. We don't do liberal interventionism anymore. Okay? The very fact that there is any percentage of Albertans that want independence is insane. Okay? That's insane. That means that like all of the previous initiatives have been fairly successful. The do you mean you want to be separated from the rest of Canada? Are you out of your mind? What are you talking about? It's completely psychotic. It's like a suicide pact. You're just basically holding a gun to your mouth and going, I want to pull the trigger, eh? This is what great powers do, though. I mean, this is, to a certain degree what Russia has done as well. It's certainly something that America and other Western powers have utilized over and over again against their foreign adversaries. The point is that there is at least 19%, right? So that then the Trump administration can say, oh, there was an election theft that took place here. Or they might not even use it at all. They might just come in and say, hey, we have to do this because we have security concerns. We have to do this because otherwise Russia and China will come in and take over Canada, and we can't let that happen. I mean, look at Mark Carney. He's actually leaning in the direction of China now. We have to come in and seize control and annex Canada, just like Fallout, in the Fallout universe where America forcibly seized and annexed Canada because they were fighting against China in the Fallout universe. Canada's developing plans to wage a guerrilla war against the U.S. invasion, in case you are wondering how things are going. Military planners are modeling a U.S. invasion from the south, expecting American forces to overcome Canada's strategic positions on land and at sea within a week and possibly as quickly as 2 days. Canada does not have the number of military personnel or the sophisticated equipment needed to fend off a conventional American attack. They said so. So the military envisions unconventional warfare, and with small groups of irregular military armed civilians would resort to ambushes, sabotage, drone warfare, or hit and run tactics. The aim of such tactics would be to impose mass casualties on the U.S. occupying forces, the official said. This rupture in the joint defense agreement would likely see France or Britain, nuclear weapon states, being called on to provide support and defense for Canada against the U.S. Just normal and good. Just normal and good things. And just normal and good things to look forward to, guys. I mean, it's insane. But how can you look at what the DPRK has done as anything but a resounding success? Like, how can you look at the situation that's in front of us right now and think, it's really up that they developed nukes over there. Yeah, America ain't doing this to North Korea. Ukrainians that fled to Canada from Russian invasion right now got to be bro. Please stop joking. It will come true. Please stop. I don't want a burger. I want to be syrup. Please, I beg. No, you will be burger and you will like it. Hot take. Everyone should have one nuke. That's not a hot take. That's the Hasanabi rule for nation building and sovereignty. The U.S. Army fighting against hordes of Canadian liberals while the scheming, quizzling Tories hide in the shadows. Oh, that's the other side, by the way. We looked at this yesterday. This is why I was saying, like, my current working theory on this is that if you are right-wing in any country, you actually don't care about national sovereignty at all. What you claim is patriotic, is like anti-woke or whatever, all these like reactionary attitudes is just about letting America come and f you in the ass, okay? Right-wingers in every country right now, and the further right they go, the worse this gets, want America to come and f them, okay? Like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. When push comes to shove, when a real question is presented about a preferred response to U.S. invasion, the only party that is, by plurality, in support of rolling over and showing their bellies are the conservatives. And the more progressive you are, the more left you are, the more likely you are to fight for national sovereignty. Liberals at 73%, and NDP at 78%. I thought these were the woke they-thems, the septum-piercing wearers, the blue-haired social justice warriors. What the happened? It turns out the more right-wing you are, the more conservative you are, the more invested you are in American dominance. The more right-wing you are, the more you want to lick the boot. You only respond to power. You only respond to who the most powerful force is. It's crazy. We're seeing this, and I've been saying this for years and years about right-wing defense of police brutality. We already experienced this on the domestic front over and over again. Whenever right-wingers come out and say, "Oh, you got killed, you deserved it. You deserve to be killed by a cop. You have to always comply or die, comply or die." But it blows my mind. It blows my mind that you got people that claim to be the real patriots here that have more of an investment in fighting their own neighbors than fighting Americans that would potentially invade their country. It blows my mind.
This headline: I'd take Trump, warts and all, over our complete and utter lawyer of a PM. Maybe the US buying Britain isn't such a crazy idea.
Another thing that I was joking about that is...
Does anyone want to have a go at explaining what that means? If you're unfortunate enough to have written tons of columns, many of them, of course, from America, about why he's so wonderful and why you love him and why he's so great and why you don't care about the self-confessed sex offending or the lying about elections or the launching of violent insurrections or the pardoning of convicted drug traffickers while you're arresting or kidnapping another one, about the grabbing of women by the genitals, about the abuse of disabled journalists and the abuse of genuine military heroes, Gold Star families. If you've convinced you don't care yourself, you don't care. He's my guy. I love him. My scarf is tight. Then what are you left with now? Don't support your own prime minister. Don't support your own government. Don't support your own country. Support the foreign leader with the CV I've just described to you, with an absolutely obvious disdain for morality. Don't support your own leader. Support the foreign leader who wishes you harm.
The international reactionary movement is organized around demanding American domination over not only global South, but also their own sovereign states. Send tweet. The international reactionary movement is organized around demanding American domination over not only the global South, but also over their own sovereign states, but also over their own sovereign states. Welcome back, Charlie Kirk. What is this? We're very happy to share some exciting news. Our family is growing. Usher! Usher's pregnant? Usher's pregante? This is literally a broken clock. This guy's a fucking idiot. I hate this guy. He's the worst. He's the epitome of libtard, huge Starmer fanboy. This is literally a broken clock being right twice. I mean, I don't care if they're like, what you're failing to comprehend is if Starmer rolls over as he has done so, so far, I think those guys will inevitably pull out of that allegiance as well. Usher is pregante. We are very happy to share some exciting news. Our family's growing. You know what this is, right? This is a classic, the relationship is in tatters, another baby will fix it. This is famously what couples do when they're on the verge of divorce. Straight up. How could JD cheat on Erica Kirk like this? It's really f***ed up, by the way. I, for one, am devastated. Biologist dumbfounded as Usha Vance somehow gives birth to Erica Kirk's baby. Yeah, it's like a surrogacy program, but this time instead of artificial insemination, he did it direct, the old-fashioned style, the old-fashioned way. He pumped it. Classic failing marriage move, hoping that another baby will fix what's broken. Maybe Usher cheated on him with Stephen Miller. They're all swinging, probably. No.
Forces with him and saying, let's conquer Greenland together.
What on earth are you on about?
We should conquer Greenland together.
What do you mean?
Dude, that's awesome. Is that Keir Starmer calling in? I'm Keir Starmer, and I believe we must conquer Greenland together.
Them and saying, let's conquer Greenland together.
What on earth are you on about? What do you mean? On whose authority?
Like Britain used to do in 1700.
Why would we march our forces onto Greenland? What possible benefit would we get out of that?
We'll get a share of the spoils.
Of what?
We'll
of the territory?
Of the territory, of the minerals.
What about the 57,000 Greenlanders who live there?
Well, they're just collateral damage. As Donald Trump is, he's going to win. So either you jump with him or not.
What would stop him doing that to the UK then? I mean, if we just ignore the wishes of the people who live there and the government, then where do we draw the line?
That's the danger. So we have to join forces with him. And after Greenland, it might be Sweden.
But why does he need
again.
Greenland so much, in your view, then, Jonathan?
Why did we need India and China 200 years ago?
I'm asking you now.
Delete it. Money.
What if the Danes say it's our territory, it's part of the Kingdom of Denmark, we're going to defend ourselves? What, you'd be happy with British forces opening fire on Danish troops?
Yes, sending the Viking boats like we did 200 years ago, yes. Sir.
I wonder if you're having me on, Jonathan. This is an
totally
insane plan.
I'm 97% sure this is my dad. Oh my God.